Well, how do you play Danish ball?
Well, you see down there where Betty Ray lived, the cement.
And where she lives was the old school.
The old school, they've added on to it. And over to this end. And we'd hit it with their hands. The boys were playing ball too, so we'd have the front part and we'd have the back part. There's more room back there for them. And they'd throw the ball to us and we'd hit it with our hand off as far as we could. And then if we couldn't run while we were out, but if we could get down to the cement sidewalk there, then we could come back when somebody else had hit the ball.
You had to wait until somebody hit the ball off?
If I got down that way, then I had to wait until somebody could knock me back home, but sometimes they could go down and back before they got the ball.
Did Grandma happen to be the one that showed you how to play that since she was from Denmark?
I don't know where I learned to play it. I think it was Mother. Grandma was too old.
Well, then she probably taught her daughter then.
Yeah,
that's why they call it Danish ball.
Just like she knew how to speak Danish and we didn't. One time for Easter with them, a big bunch of us was playing steal a stick. Now you play it now, I don't know, you have to run up and they'd have a row of sticks and one group would be down here and the other down here, and we'd have to run up and grab the stick and get back when we was caught. And the one that got the most sticks was the winner. Said, oh, we used to have so much fun with that stick. We used to go down to the lake. I was the youngest one in our group of kids that we played with, and one time when we had a show up in Leland with his wife's sister with F.
John Larson,
and was Effie Markham, Neil's older sister, never married, and her and Margaret Lyshon, when it was take us to the lake. So they put on shows and we'd be in them, and we used to have more fun practicing. Then they'd pile the seats up to the audience to sit on. Oh, we used to have a lot of plays.
Well, didn't you say that you used to play games at night, and your house would be the gathering place for all the kids in town?
The place was the gathering spot of Leland. I don't know why it was, but I know Florence's bunch. I don't remember much of our Irene's group, but Florence's bunch collected there. And they'd all wear hats, and they'd put them on the dining room table. And first time, and we had to go in and try them on and look in the mirror. We had a mirror there by the door as you go upstairs, and we'd have to try them all on while they were in the front room. Stella and Clara's group, they come in, they put their hats on the table like Florence did. And Donna and I, we'd have to try on the hats. And it seemed like my bunch, we'd collect up there on Sunday nights and go meet the train. Rides used to come and bring milk up there. Kids come up from Benjamin to go with us kids up there, Mary Coyle and Emma Coyle and Hazel Thomas and Donna and me and France Beck, he was our age, and Roy Isaac and all them. But he did the steep meet the train.
What would you do after you met the train? What would you do?
Oh, we go down home and play run sheep.
Well, what would you do at the train?
Just watch and unload the cans and gab and whatever.
Then you'd come back home and play what?
Then we'd come back home and play run sheep run or any of those games. There ain't no bears out tonight, and ticky Tatchwood. Oh, we used to have a lot of fun. Night was night to go to town. So we'd get in there white top buggy and ride to town with them. side up there and see the Indians performing around them, kids on their backs, and how fancy they dress. And there was one store they called the Racket Store, and they had everything in there you ever wanted, and if they didn't have it, they'd get it for you. So they get their shopping done. And then sometimes you'd go to a show. One time they had a basket lunch to raise money for something, and Irene fixed up me a basket and her one, and then they sold the lunch boxes, not knowing who owned them, the guys. And I got Amos's name, and Irene got somebody else's. But before we got there, she dropped somebody, whoever was carrying them, dropped it, mine, so she gave it to me, mine. So she took it, and she says, oh, afterwards, and I'm not out eating with them, she says, I should have traded boxes with you. One time when I went over there to help Irene, Donna wasn't with me this time. Irene had some potato water out there cooling, wanted me to watch it. Well, she had a ladder there, and I was walking up and down the ladder, and she had a real mean rooster, just like Bonnie had out here. They'd climb on your back, it'd just chase you to everything. And she wanted me to keep this rooster out of the water, potato water, because she wanted to make some bread. Well, that rooster got over there anyway and took it over. So Irene has to make some more. They killed that rooster, and she went out there to feed him one time and got on his back, and he grabbed it and cut its head off, and they had chicken and dumplings too. We used to have big reunions up there in the old city hall in Spanish Fork on the park. And we used to get acquainted then with our relatives. And Galantrum was one of the leaders, and Dad. And they'd dance a round circle and right and left. And
was that before Grandpa got crippled up?
Oh, yes, long before that. I was a little kid. But see, they included us little ones in among them to get acquainted with us. But on the park, same park on the 4th of July, Mother'd have to fix up a freezer of ice cream and lunch, and for the little ones, she'd have a quilt. But she'd go up there and find a shady spot that'd be shady all afternoon from the trees, and settle down there. We always had a program in the hall, and so we got tired of listening to what was going on while we'd go out and run around the park. Now, Turtle Beck, Branch Beck's brother, is my age. I guess he's a little younger than me. Branch is a little older. But Don and me and Roland Kamek used to chase around together. So that was the first time I ever went to a picture show, and Mother said I could go with Turtle. We asked her, I remember asking her, we could go to the picture show. It was way down north of town. And yeah, she said we could go. So what was it but an Indian show? So we went down there. Then I was in the parade for about 5 years straight. I had to be in the parade. Mother fixed me up a dress one year. We didn't know I was going to be in the parade, so she made me a pink silk dress and had these big ruffles come up and around, back down, like this ruffle on. So it was pink silk, and I was to wear that for the 24th. And the night before, they wanted me to be in the parade, and they had a big, huge lily, and I was to be one of the petals that come up out of the center of the lily. So Mother set up, made me a white silk skirt and blouse. And then after the parade, I put on this pink silk dress. Then one time they had a big float with kids on it, Utah's best crop. I had to be in that. Oh, now I remember the others, but see, like every year I had to be in the parade. And when Dad got the phonograph record, then I'd spend the Saturday in the parlor pretending to be cleaning up, and I'd be playing the record. Took me all day to do nothing. The other girls had the house done, and that's why I could never learn how to keep houses.
Great-grandma Madsen Jensen. Well, she died in 1919.
So you guys went with your dad at that time, and there was a dance on uptown, and Mother told me not to go because Grandma had passed away. She didn't want me celebrating it, so she told me to tell Granny not to go, that I couldn't go. So I made him out on the lawn and told him, so he went back to the dance and had a good time.
Well, do you know if her parents were here, or did she leave them in Denmark?
No, the story that I read about, that Irene wrote, her husband wasn't well enough to come. He was sickly or something.
That would be her.
And
she came, didn't she? She
with
came
her daughter, my grandma.
This Dorothea Clausen.
So she came, and they lived in a cave down there in Spanish Park somewhere. And this fellow from Denmark, he was alone.
Him.
So he got in touch with great-grandma, and wanted to marry her. And she said, "No, you marry my daughter." She says, "I'm too old to have children, and so you marry her daughter," and that was Grandma, great-grandma or whatever.
No, it would be your grandma.
Yeah. And when I was 7 years old, why, we took a trip out there, Florence, and Edwin was the baby, and me. I don't know why I had to go, but I did. And we had a big sack of cookies, and when I went out there, Spanish Park Canyon, up that steep hill, we had to walk up that, and that's where we lost our cookies. And our brother, they got out the wagon, and it took us 7 days, Monday to Saturday.
You went Spanish Fork Canyon up through Diamond?
Up to the covered wagon.
Up through Sulphur?
Yeah, we stopped at Sulphur there one night, and that was the first time I saw any Indians. And,
at Sulphur Springs?
We was parked there, and I was always by Dad, and we saw these little kids, Indian kids, and a man, don't remember a woman, but they was wandering around. I guess she stayed in the camp or wherever they were at, but they was wandering around like us, and we were running across them, and Dad says, "Don't be afraid of the Indians." He says, "They're good now." So he talked to them, and I don't know how they understood each other, but I was still afraid of them. I was hanging on to Dad's hand. But finally we got acquainted, and we was running around there playing hide and go seek, whatnot, and chasing each other around. Had a lot of fun. That was the first time I'd seen an Indian.
And it took you 7 days from the time you left Leland to go
Monday
out
to Saturday, and then Sunday morning, right there at the last place that there was any little stream of water, my mother told us to wash our hands and feet and face and change clothes, and kind of took a bath there and put on our Sunday best, and got them time to go to Sunday school with them. Well, what we went for was that they were celebrating putting a bridge over that river there to go on to Colorado. And So Florence had some pictures of the thing where she was out there as May Poland or something. There was doing dancing, everything going on. I don't know where the pictures went, but I didn't get any of that. But that was my first time traveling.
Well, tell me what you remember about your mother.
My mother?
Yep. What was her personality?
Oh, well, about the first thing I can remember was the tramps used to go up and down the thing, and they used to have gunny sacks over their boots or shoes or overshoes, whatever, keep their feet warm. And one time there was a fellow came there, and he'd been up all the neighborhood. He was talking to her, and she was talking to him. We didn't know she could speak English.
Grandma?
We was
Grandma
laughing
could
and
speak
wondering
English?
what they were talking about. And so when she fed him and gave him stuff, and she said all he wanted was some milk and eggs. Nobody could understand her. So she asked her when she learned it, and she says, oh, she learned it years ago from her mother. So she could speak Danish yet, but she never learned it to any of us.
That's too bad. I wish
Yeah.
she had.
Should have done. But,
well, didn't you say that the Indians used to come and scare?
oh, well, that was when they lived in the old house. Indians would be coming, and the dog would bark and let her know somebody was coming. And so she'd hide them down in their cellar, else under a tub or something. And they was real little. But
Do you ever?
she'd hide them. And
You never got hid like that? Do you remember
oh,
that?
well, I was born in the new home.
Oh.
Reed was the first one born there, and me. And so I don't know anything about that, but I know they had adobe chicken coops and log buildings north of our house when they first moved, when I first remember. That's where I saw some pigs born one time. I was out there playing and happened to have to go feed the pig, and there she was laying down the pig's out. Dad used to come in and have Clabber. There was sour milk. And I used to be with him so much because there was no girls my age, and they were all boys around me, so I kind of...
Well, I thought you and Donna palled around together.
Well, when we wasn't together, I was with Dad. When he'd come in for Clabber, we'd get that big round plate. And,
You'd eat it with him?
yeah, I had to have what Dad had. So we'd get a big tablespoon and carefully so we would get the water. And we saw a little bit and eat it. Now I can't stand Clabber. Then when we went to school, we'd come home and we'd have to make bread in the morning and then leave part of the bread for starting, and in the afternoon make another 8 loaves of bread. So we'd come home from school starved, and we'd cut us a slice of bread and put either bacon grease on it and a little salt, or else we'd put some cream on it off the... When we was going to school, I used to have to knit more clothes. I could do the leg all right, but I couldn't finish it, and I couldn't put the feet on them. So Mother finished them up for me, so we'd have, because we didn't have heated houses like they do now, and the floor would be cold maybe, and I'd have to make my own knit them with knitting needles, but I can't knit now.
Well, didn't you have some kind of a wood-ticking carpet on your floors?
We
Straw
had
tip?
carpet.
Braided rug?
No, we had, when I'd come home from school, Mother'd be sewing these rags together, like I used to do, for
Yeah.
so. And I'd sit there from the time I'd come from school and She'd have a big pile behind the machine where she sewed all day. And then when I was bigger, I had to take the buggy and cars and take them down to a lady in Benjamin to make. She wrote and put it, weave it in great big round circles, and then Mother measure the room and cut them and then sew them in strips. And then they used to take boards after they put the straw on. They'd clean the straw off and mop the floor and then put clean straw. That had to be in the fall after they thrash. And then they'd use boards with nails and to stretch the carpet to the edge of the room. But when we was going to school, we had this horse named Tom, and Lauren and Reed and me would get on this horse and ride to school, and then they'd turn the horse loose and Dad would put it in the barn when he got...
you mean it would come back home again?
Yeah, by itself. And Dad would wait for it and put it back in the barn. Then we had to walk home.
One Christmas early in my life, we went to see Santa at church. I was on the first row, and they had candles on the tree. There was no electrical lights then to light up the tree. Santa got too close to the tree, and he got on fire. Everyone started for the door to go home. I could not find my folks. As they had one buggy full of our family, they forgot me and had gone home. They didn't miss me until they got home. I was frightened when everyone had gone home, so I climbed on the bench over against the wall with my head in my hands and my knees up by my chin. Finally, my dad came and found me. He was glad I was all right. I was glad to go home again, too. In winter, my friend Donna Thompson had a sleigh and would wait till a buggy came by and ask the driver if we could put her sleigh behind the buggy. She had a long rope on it, so we tied it on so when we wanted to stop, we let go of the rope and we would stop and catch a buggy coming the other way. So we would spend the day sleighing from Leland to Spanish Fork, then down as far as Benjamin, the town west of us. Then back to Spanish. We never ate, just sleigh rode all day. It was fun. My older brother, Reed, was janitor of our one-room schoolhouse who had grades up 1, 2, and including the 4th grade. Our teacher rode a horse from Spanish Fork out to Leland. Her husband was on a mission, so Reed took care of the horse for her, so I helped him sweep the floor. We had coal and wood to put in for the fire every morning. We kept busy. Then Dad was asked to take care of the church house. I swept and dusted the church on Saturdays and cleaned the coal oil lamps and filled them with oil ready for Sunday. Dad was put in as counselor to our bishop, so Dad made us look our best when we went to church. So we all got together on Sunday morning with a shoe brush and lots of muscle. We dipped the brush in dubbin, which is homemade boot polish using tallow and soot, and put it on our shoes, then brushed them with the brush till you could almost see yourself in our shoes. Dad made us stay with it till it suited him. Dad went on a mission while I was little, but didn't fill it as he got rheumatism from the damp climate of Georgia. He had it the rest of his life. I was married to James Vance Gividen in 1919, December 15th in Provo, then later married in the Salt Lake Temple. We had 8 children, Rhea Lucille, Harold Vance, Gwen, James Dean, Kathleen, Bert, Georgine, and Mary Jo. Gwen died when she was 1 1/2 months old with pneumonia. James Dean died when he was 14 years old with heart trouble. Things that I Remember About My Mom by Kathleen Gividen. The very first that I can remember really well is that my mom loved her Relief Society magazine. She loved the stories that were in it. As soon as it would come, she would sit down with me on her lap and read the stories to me. The magazine also had wonderful poems and really good recipes. She loved to cook and would try a lot of these recipes out, many of which became her very favorite ones. Mom had a very beautiful voice and sang with Lenore Bills and Beth Jensen. She also led the music in primary when I was just really young. I still remember seeing her up front, leading us young children, singing the primary songs. She also played the piano very well. Mother had a large patch of red raspberries, 17 long rows to be exact. She planted them really close to each other, and when it came time to prune them, she did very little pruning. She felt the taller the bush, the more berries. She also had red currants, black currants, and black raspberries. All of Mom's brothers and sisters would come and pick a picking so as to be able to get the berries. Mom loved flowers. Her mom had beautiful peonies. Mom got starts from Grandma Beck, and she also had beautiful peonies. I remember at Decoration Day, Mom would fill her number 2 tin tubs with her beautiful flowers and sell them to different people who had ordered them from her. Mom loved to do handwork. I remember when we used to be quarantined for having the children's diseases, she would teach me how to embroider, crochet, and even to tat. She also loved to make and quilt beautiful quilts. I remember the quilting bees she used to have at home. She would put on a quilt, and Aunt Florence Stone and all of her daughters that could come, Marie Stone, May Stone, and lots of the quilters in Mapleton, would help her quilt these beautiful quilts. Later, she became a charter member of the Mapleton Quilters Club. She loved to play games. When we were really young, I remember her putting our little table and chairs in front of the big pot-bellied stove in the front room, and we would have our supper on that table. It would lots of times be bread and milk and onions. How good that always tasted. Her wonderful homemade bread, milk fresh from the cow that Harold always milked, and onions from the big garden that Dad always planted. She would make homemade ice cream really often. We would finish supper off with a large bowl of homemade ice cream topped with crunched saltine crackers. After supper, we would always play flinch, touring, old maid, fish, or etc. games. She had a crokinole board that we used to love to play on, too. There were always fun games to play. Mom loved sports and would love to go across the street to the ball field and watch the little leaguers play ball. It didn't matter if she knew any of the children playing or not. She would enjoy the game and root for the players. Annie Lucille Beck Gividen was born 30th July 1902 in Leland, Utah, to Isaac and Sarah Jensen Beck. She was the middle child of 14 children. She has had 8 sisters and 6 brothers. She lived and grew up in Leland and went to school there and in Spanish Fork. She had a very happy childhood. She loved to romp and play and did a lot of work with her brothers. She also wanted to be outside in the fresh, clean, open spaces. When Gwen was born, she was born with a cleft palate. At that time, they didn't have the medical know-how they have now. They didn't know how to take care of her, and she literally starved to death. They couldn't get her to swallow. At her death, Mom and Dad were ready to have their family sealed to them. On the 16th of December, 1926, they were sealed together and had their family sealed to them also in the Salt Lake Temple.
Hi,
So, who are you?
I'm Caelden Poulson. I'm your grandson.
And who am I?
You are Julie Poulson, my grandmother.
Me. Your Nana, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, you are going to explain what this is.
This is a Thomas Edison Amberol record player. It plays these blue Amberol records. They are cylinder records made out of stuff called black wax.
Oh, and we've got a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Right there
And
and right there. Okay.
So
there's the Edison thing. Yeah. And this came from who?
Your grandmother.
Grandma Gividen.
Grandma Gividen. Anne Gividen.
Annie Lucille
Beck Gividen. Okay, the whole name.
Yeah.
So this is a fun little player. It has no electricity whatsoever. It was built in 1903. That was about 120 years ago. It is really old. So you just crank it up. Then you get the black wax Amberol record.
And let's see, this one has, it's
called Howdy One Step. Played by the Jodis Society Orchestra.
Okay.
You carefully slide it on there. This one doesn't have much friction. And then the player head, which is connected to the horn, when the lever points up, it's above the thing. So you want to slide it over and put it down on the record. Then there's a little switch here that you hit. And after a minute, it'll start playing.
you have it. And when I got these, my daddy, Harold Gividen, had written and on that paper that these are not his favorite, but these are his favorite, and we're not sure. But Caelden has picked out his favorites.
Yeah.
And they're from Daddy's not favorite thing.
Yep.
Box. And just an FYI, this belonged to my daddy, and it is a World War II bag. He had one just like it when he served in the war. He had lost his, but he found this, and so it's just like his was. What are these called?
They're called Blue Emerald records.
Tuxedo Dance.
It's Tuxedo Dance Orchestra. The actual song is My Isle of Golden Dreams. It's a waltz by Tuxedo Dance Orchestra.
Thank you, Caelden.
Yeah.